it's very complicated, but I like to fight for this, to fight for our planet.
This is The Butterfly Effect, a podcast that shows the big impact a small action can do. Tali Orad is talking to those special people that make a difference with nature and trees.
Welcome everyone to this episode of The Butterfly Effect. My name is Tali Orad. I'm your host and your butterfly here. I am very excited for today's episode as I'm speaking with a young activist, Iris Bardon. She is a politics and international relationship student, particularly involved in environmental preservation, international peace and development, to various ongoing projects. From art to technology, she believes there are lucid and innovative ways to help our beautiful planet and reverse the trends often described to young people as irreversible. So welcome, Iris, to the Butterfly Effect.
Thank you.
I am so excited that we are speaking today. As a student of politics and international relationship, you're involved in environmental preservation, international peace and development through various projects. And I'm so looking forward to hear more on them. They all started after you took a year off to travel the world.
Yeah.
Where were you where did you go that inspired you to take action?
First, thank you for hosting me here. It's like I'm actually very honored to talk for your podcast. Thank you. Everything started when I took a gap year, but I would say that my biggest inspiration was and still is my grandmother, who always had that love for nature, and she had a big garden, and she always encouraged me to take nothing for granted. We would do a tour in her garden and she would show me flowers, explain to me how it grows, how to cultivate them, how hard the process can be, how if you associate different flowers it can help them grow. And then, as you said, I before starting my studies in the UK, I took a gap year and I traveled to Costa Rica in a surf camp. I didn't know anything about Costa Rica. I didn't know there was a beautiful place. I had just heard of it. And then I came, I saw the beautiful nature, and I saw people who deeply cared about it and who were living at the same pace as nature, eating respectfully, treating our land respectfully as well. Of course, where I was, maybe not in the whole country, but I was like, okay, maybe at my age I can start making a change as well. And I met incredible people who were also inspired.
So when you talk about inspiration, amazing people that inspired you, I'm assuming you're referring to Alexandria Villaseñor.
Exactly.
She created the international organization in April 2019, which sounds like ages ago, in New York when she was just 14, and now she's a 15-year-old activist.
She created Earth Uprising, so yeah, a youth-led environmental organization which is apolitical, only cares about the environment and calling people to listen to what scientists say and urging people to act. And so with friends, we created the French, because I'm French, maybe my accent will betray me. It was born in November 2019, and we're progressing, and we will be releasing our first campaign. It's in September for Europe. It's around agroecology. So basically it's respecting the seasons, encouraging people to plant trees, use less pesticides within the agricultural system.
How many people are involved in that project?
At the beginning, we were like 4, then 5 and 6, then people send us messages on social media. People who are joining us, we even have adults who are very interested in. And of course, we are young, so we know that we learned a lot. We still have a lot to learn as well. Some people with an actual expertise can help us as well, because we believe that community is important as well, like being a lot to create a big impact.
Now, when you say young, how old are you? How old is the team?
I'm 19, but I'm not the youngest. The youngest is 15 years old. His name is Victor, and Victor in the French accent. He's extremely brilliant, and he's also a co-founder. We're all in charge of making this organization bigger. The goal of branches all over the world of Earth Uprising is to have local impact, because of course Alexandria and her US team can't know precisely what's going on around the world locally, a concrete knowledge of what's happening around here. Time is limited, so she can't know everything, and that's totally normal. We're helping her. It's a big adventure starting right now.
It's the same thing with 1 trillion. I mean, we need to plant trillions of trees all over the world, and everybody needs to be coming together to do it. And this is what you guys are doing in Earth Uprising in France. So, did you already start the first planting project, or is it in the midst of preparations?
It's actually in the midst of preparation. We're actually trying to know where we would do it, which city we have to encourage doing it. It's a whole process because we can't just come and plant trees whenever we want. So we learned that we need more authorizations. We're planning on doing this.
And it's also it's not just planting the same tree that we think is the best, is understanding what the land needs, what's the ecosystem, support the biodiversity. There's so much more in just putting a tree wherever we want.
What I like about being involved in, environmental preservation is that you get to learn every day through different people, through different articles or news.
You mentioned your grandmother at the beginning, and I know you told me you just recently lost your grandmother and your grand aunt, which made me so sad for you. And that brought you back to your grandmother's hometown,
Exactly.
where you learn, right? You learn more about what's happening, connected to your roots, walking in those gardens, but then also realizing that the new mayor is about to take down 150 trees to
Exactly.
build a hotel. So what are you going to do about that?
First, I need to know exactly what he's planning to do, when he's planning to do, and it's very difficult to reach out to him. I'm asking several people if they know more because, of course, it's a secret project. He didn't announce in his campaign that he would do it. He just said that he would facilitate ways to go to this hotel. So facilitating the way is cutting trees, basically. So I'm currently in contact with different people to know what he's doing, and then I will reach out to him, and hopefully he will accept to not do it, or at least to compensate, even though I don't want him to cut them at all. I'm gonna push for action with different people, and it could have been different if it was like a hospital, like I understand facilitating the way to get more people like faster, but this way it's not so.
And it's a hotel. Like, people now appreciate more when there is nature. They want to go to nature, not go to an industrial area, especially when it's a small village in France, right? Where is it?
I'm in Le Touquet, which is in the north of France. The French president wife, the first lady, has a house here. Now people wonder what's going on right around there. It's beautiful. There's the sea. There's a lot of trees, the forest. Like, it's a balance with the sea and the forest. I totally love it. I've also learned that through trees, I can also reduce anxiety. I've actually never tried to hug a tree, but apparently one of my friends did it, and it's actually very, very efficient to calm down.
It is. So after you do that, let me know, or take a picture and share it with us.
Yeah.
It's said that the new mayor wants to take down 150 trees to create a pavement to a hotel, especially when we know people are looking to see those trees and looking to spend time either at the beach, as you mentioned, or there. So I guess we'll have to stay tuned and see how we can find a way to have him do something else.
Yeah, I think it's the biggest challenge today between what to prioritize. It's very complicated, but I like to fight for this, to fight for our planet, and I love being part of this and knowing that I can make a little, very, very, very tiny impact. But if we gather all together, as you as even the title of this podcast says it, you can have a huge impact if you want it. So butterfly, yeah.
Yes, I totally agree. And you study politics and international relationship, and
Yeah.
you are involved in like environmental preservation project, international peace and development through various projects. So I know you also recently became the chair of Bath University Model for United Nations, which congratulations, amazing.
Thank you.
Can you tell us what you do there? What's the goal for that?
I'm studying politics and international relations at the University of Bath. The first aim is to model United Nations, basically, which means that we imitate, to simply put, debates between delegates representing different countries on different topics. It's very efficient to work for your eloquence, but what I want to implement as well, and what I already started to do, is also focus on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and not only work on that diplomatic aspect of the society.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really interested in the clean water goal set by the UN for 2030. We are a member of the United Nations Association Youth Platform, doing campaigns for the oceans. I'm actually very looking forward to bond with more people, to have more impact, because of course with my friends sometimes we do like cleanups, and we take trash, and we try to even have a little impact at our own scale.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I believe it's very important to reach out to people and have a bigger and bigger impact. So far, I would say that I'm very, very grateful to chair the society this year, because it's easier to bond with people and to reach out to them if you need help, because they know that if you really want to fulfill these goals, you can.
So one project is the clean water. The other project was related to Earth Uprising.
We're planning on linking everything as well on around trees and biodiversity, because basically in Bath the city is beautiful. If people know the city in the south of England, in the Somerset County, it's beautiful. There are trees everywhere. You would actually love it, Tally. Like it's the heaven for trees. There are also people using pesticides, but there are also people putting trash everywhere. I mean, it seems to be a universal thing. So this time we're planning with Earth Uprising to do things with students, because I think that at our age, the main thing is to be aware. You can't start acting if you don't know. Even every day I learn about digital pollution. I learn about the benefits of planting trees every day. And what I like about this planting trees idea is that you don't need diplomas to plant trees. You don't need that academic degree
Right.
to make this planet better.
Yes, and I appreciate that you said it's all comes down to education. It's understanding what the benefits are, what is it that we need to do, what's our small action, and even our small action has a bigger impact, as you said, even if it's just cleaning the ocean, taking the dog for a walk and seeing that there is garbage, picking it up. That's little small action goes a long way.
People saying, yeah, but it won't change anything. It's above us. We don't control it and stuff. I understand, because sometimes we can be a bit disillusioned when we see what's going on around the world, especially right now. But I believe that it's our responsibility and our role to create within ourselves a sort of alliance of hope, but lucidity all at once. Still hope, act, and be positive, but also, of course, be aware and not deny what's going on around the world. Sometimes we can't control the actions of certain politicians. It's exactly what you did. Basically, you didn't engage politically, but you created an apolitical environmental organization to just ameliorate what's going on.
There's nothing political about trees. I mean, I remember climbing up on them when I was growing up, playing hide and seek in the forest. I mean, I'm sure you have your memories, but there's nothing political there. It's just taking advantage of the forest and giving it back with whatever I can, especially without harming it.
I mean, it's good for everyone, and Yeah, for biodiversity, for us, for oxygen, for air pollution, for stress. It helps purify the air, rainwater
Yes.
runoff.
Now, a little bird or a little butterfly just whispered in my ears that there is another project you are involved in, and that's the washing machine project. You
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
tell us a little bit about it?
There's this man called Nav who comes from India and who came across a woman in the street who looked very exhausted. Nav asked her, what is your problem? What would you like me to do? And she said, I always have to wash clothes. I'm tired. And then because he is an engineer, he created this washing machine which doesn't need electricity. You just need a stick to turn it around, create that circular move.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a brilliant idea, and now he received a lot of funding. And so right now they are being used in Iraq camps for refugees.
Is there anything you don't do? There's like clean water, helping women, helping the trees, and just reminding everybody she is 19.
I would love to do film making. Of course, reading reports on the environment is very striking, and numbers don't lie most of the time. I also believe that, creating movies can change someone's life. And it could be naive, but we all have a movie in mind which truly marked us. You either cried, laughed, and I like to transmit these kind of emotions to people. When you go to the cinema or when you watch a movie, sometimes you just take your brain, put it aside, you just watch, you enjoy, you relax, and it's kind of the effect of the forest. You're calm down.
And I'm assuming you're kind of like getting everybody carried away all over in France and getting more kids and youth involved in everything that you're doing. You're trying to do it more in Earth Uprising.
It's all about talking to people. I just had a conversation with my sister and fiance about digital pollution, and we were talking about the impact of even email, just emails. And so yeah, I think it's just bringing awareness and raising awareness as well. That's how we communicate. And in Earth Uprising France, it's mainly through our social media.
So, how do you voice climate emergency when you try to stay so positive and so engaging with youth, not to scare them too much? Not that nobody knows, but sometimes we need a reminder because we don't see it every day. If like it's a warmer weather, sometimes it's nice, but it has a bigger implications.
I think that's very important to not forget what's happening right now and what are the future consequences of it. Of course, the positive thing is that it's an emergency, but when we're not undergoing the very effects right now, they are slowly coming, but we're not feeling it straight away. The thing is to say, here is what's going to happen. Here it's what you can do. You have the power to do it because you don't need a degree. There are people with degrees. There are people with an expertise who told us things, who informed us about things since the 1960s. More and more fields are being involved in environmental preservation and the fight against global warming. There is potential, but for me, I insist on that. It's just bringing awareness.
That's an interesting statement.
It's very paradoxical, but still be comprehensive amongst and during this climate emergency, because some people sometimes don't have the time, neither the money, to actually be involved in every way, especially because it's not their very first priority. It's just trying to explain to them what they could switch, what are better alternatives, which are not going to make them lose money, is for me the first way. Because what I've noticed when talking with people is that their very first worry and concern was money. Yeah, but it's very expensive. How can we do that? Eating organic is expensive. Being vegan, being vegetarian. Informing people what they can do, but also understanding why they could be reluctant to act, and they feel that it's happening, it's out of their hands, and it's bringing back the power into their hands.
Right. So, what would you say to one that is listening right now? And when you're listening, thank you so much for doing that. What
Thank
what would
you.
you say? What will be the 3 tips for those who are listening that want to take action, even if it's just a small action? And as you said, to worry about the everyday life, but still feel like they're doing something because we can all do something.
Act locally with whatever organization or group there is. If there's not a group, create it if you can, if you have time. Second, do your own little actions. Try to reduce your plastic consumption in any way you can. And third, communicate. Talk to others who are not still already part of organizations like the one you will be joining, of course. And yeah, that's what I would say.
So join others, take action, even the smallest, and talk to others to spread the word.
You have the power to do it, and no matter what your age is. I mean, Alexandria Villaseñor is a big example. It's a very, very great example because she was only 14 when she created this, and she was at the United Nations talking for Women's Day. So people noticed her because of her willingness to change things, and just for the better, for her better.
Alexandria's willingness to change things and be open is key here.
Cultivate that human connection, the importance of human connection and bonding with people, not only for professional interests, but also to get to know them. And that's what I loved about you, Tali, is that when for our first call, you were actually very interested in what I was doing and not only what I could bring to you and what we could bring to each other. And it was very surprising because I truly believe that, of course, we can all bring each other things, we can exchange things, but it's also important to also look at the non-academic, non-professional side of life, even though most of our lives are rhythmed and paced by our schedule, timetable, but that human connection and is very important for me.
I'm so happy that you say that. And first of all, thank you. And second, we're on this planet. We're all humans. We're all the same. It doesn't matter our gender and our color and our beliefs and our sexuality. We're all the same. And we all live in this planet and we all enjoy it or should enjoy it. And remember that there are others with us, right? And we should
Yeah,
support each other, not compete with each other and not compete with nature, but support it. That's why I love those trees
yeah.
because they are the essence of our entire humanity, right?
And solidarity as well, because my grandmother taught me from reading a book. Basically, he was saying that when a tree suffer or is lacking nutrients, they through their roots, trees exchange vitamins, basically help each other.
I think you're referring to Peter Wolven's book, The Hidden Lives of Trees.
In French, it goes "La vie secrète des arbres."
So if we're switching to French now, how do you say a tree in French?
Un is a, arbre is tree. Un arbre.
What is your favorite tree?
Ginkgo biloba. It's a Japanese tree. I just love the shape of the leaves. In the sun, the leaves looks like gold.
By the way, Iris, you are what I call a true butterfly. Your action have long-lasting reactions on so many things, and you're only 19, which is inspiring to everybody that is listening. And honestly, it doesn't really matter how old you are. You can start when you are 14, as we were talking about Alexandria, or you can start when you are 50 or 60. There is a 65-year-old woman that is collecting trash from the beach. It doesn't matter how old you are. All you need is that intention and all you need is to care. I admire your actions and I applaud you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We are all beautiful butterflies, each in his and her individual ways. I wanted to thank you for joining me today in this episode. I really appreciate you coming on this journey with me, and I hope to see you next time. And remember, it only takes a small action to make a big difference. Be a butterfly.
And that's all for this episode. Thank you for joining us today. Please subscribe to hear more of our stories of change.